Let's do the time warp again. I'm Jacqueline. Welcome to Jacqueline Closemore Live on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. I'm coming to you live from the park. Which park? I'm not quite sure. I sort of was driving along and went, I like the trees here, which, if you can see in the background at all, which possibly you can't, because it's sort of panned down a bit. But yeah, it's pretty groovy here. So if you're worried about the world ending today, don't worry. It's already next year in Australia. We're in 2021, 1st of January in Australia. And, of course, for America, it's still the 31st of December. So what does the new year look like, given that I'm already here? Well, there's been a debate between me and a friend over whether 2021, whether we want to acknowledge it as 5, which is a Hierophant or Pope card in the tarot, or whether we want to just cut out the 20 part and go straight to 21, which would be the World card, and 21, of course, adds down to 3, which is the Empress, which we sort of like a bit more because, we can be dealing with restriction and rebellion and rules otherwise in 2021 and with that 5 and that whole energy. But I think the thing is, if we're to have learned anything from 2020, it's to actually change our expectations of what we think is important. Like, is all that stuff really mattering to you? Or is it the connections you've got around you, the people you've got around you, and how fulfilling that feels, and how you're making people feel, how they're making you feel? Because, ultimately, when you pass over, that's the stuff you actually remember. Having been through a near-death experience at age 5, that's certainly my view on it. But I still remember that today, but it guides me a bit. But I think the thing is, when we're looking at things like New Year's resolutions as well, it's just really important to, some people are going to take well to a New Year's resolution and go, yeah, I stuck to all of that. And other people say, can't do it. And also, there can be with New Year's resolutions, it's sort of like just too much pressure, yeah? And if 2020 has taught us anything, it's like, sometimes when there's too much external pressure, you can't really do much, like putting more pressure on yourself. You're not going to really achieve a great deal. So it's sort of like, well, what's actually important? Survivors of the Great Depression actually talked about how, for them, it was about staying calm. So you can't change external circumstances necessarily, but you can change how you're reacting to them. So if you're looking at resolutions to make and this sort of thing, okay, if you want to make them, great. But how about practicing some kindness about how that goes? That doesn't mean excusing yourself and eating an entire 3 blocks of chocolate immediately after making a resolution you're going to eat chocolate at all. Maybe just go down to 1 little bit of chocolate, like postage stamp size. If you've got a really good chocolate, you only need that much, by the way. But, what is the quality of what you're doing and how that's working out for you in life? That's the thing to look at in these resolutions. So if you're looking at how to manifest for the year, you can do something called a vision board. Used to be called a treasure map. They just keep repackaging these things so you can sell more self-help books, trademarking them different names over the years. Certainly I found that over the last 25. But what you can do is get newspaper clippings or magazine clippings or even pictures off the internet, make a collage. Sounds like a wonderful word, doesn't it? And you're putting together all these pictures of symbols that relate to what you'd like to manifest. And I think it's really important to be careful about how you go about that, because one of the people I know years ago got a picture out of a magazine because she wanted a guy in her life, and she cut this picture out of the magazine of, symbolised this as a man, and then she wrote cuddles, 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 cuddles all over the whole thing. Anyway, she ended up with a guy that all he ever wanted to do was cuddle her, and to the point of her feeling smothered. And cuddling was as good as it gets. That's about as graphic as I'm going to explain that one. A little bit disappointing. He's really kind of overrating his market value, I would say. But he cuddled well. A lot of faults in the relationship. So you've got to be careful how you put this stuff. Sometimes it's good to be specific. Sometimes it's good to have a specific idea in your mind. But not to lock yourself down by narrowing it too much. So you could have a picture of a guy. Oh, by the way, the guy actually looked exactly like the magazine clipping. She's much happier now with someone else, so things worked out in the end. But yeah, if you're going to doing manifestation magic, it's probably a good idea to clear your mind first, do a meditation to, clean that out, put a white line around you, and then get in that mode of, okay, well, for my highest good, what do I actually want to manifest? What's actually going to, work for me here? So you can even sort of say, I would like this and this and this, and according to my highest good. And that way, a little bit of a safeguard, not completely fireproof, but it helps. You sort of, by saying if it's according to my highest good or according to my highest good, then you're going to be in a much better space. And I think don't put into your manifestations or your rituals or your mantras, I don't want, because universe, it's a bit like a petulant child. You say, don't forget to put the rubbish out. Guess what? Forgot to put the rubbish out. Because universe just hears, forget to put rubbish out. The don't is gone. It's null. So you have to put it in positive. So even with your self-talk to yourself, like if you're sort of saying, oh, I want this in my life, why is that person always like this? And it's like, well, actually, you're focusing on them. You put a lot of energy there. Let's just stop that, yeah? Because whatever you focus on, generally it's going to come to you. There's a whole heap of universal laws that can throw a few other spanners in the works there, but generally speaking, what you focus your energy on, either really loving or really hating or fearing, guess what? It's there. Yeah, that can be tricky, can't it? So put in the manifestation of the positive things you want, do your meditation, and keep it fairly simple. And, I think if you're wanting to manifest a partner, rather than saying they've got to be rich, they've got to drive a Mercedes-Benz, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of really weird people driving Mercedes-Benz. There's some really good people riding Mercedes-Benz as well. I mean, Dr. Anthony Holding, our resident Chinese doctor, drives a Mercedes. He's pretty cool. Yeah. So it's probably better to say instead, if you're wanting to manifest a partner, I'm ready to accept my right partner, the right partner for me. And that's going to have much more of a positive outcome. The problem will be if you've got a lot of self-worth issues, yeah, and on a sort of deeper level, your self-worth is way down here, then if it's going to sort of comply with your self-worth. So you've got to work on your self-worth as well. So it's not enough to go, I cast the magic spell. Ooh, there we go. Expecto Patronum. Well, that one works pretty well. Yeah. But it's not good enough to just wave that wand and go, right, that's it, it's done. You've still got to work on yourself. I think the thing is, it's also really important when you're wanting to do rituals and manifestations. Most rituals involve doing it once. Yeah, and going, all right, I'm going to release that energy now, let it go, going to move on to other things, do some grocery shopping, chop wood, carry water, let it go, to quote Elsa from Frozen. And then you just get on with stuff, right? So that helps you then manifest it. If you're calling to a higher energy to help you with manifestation, that also really helps. But if you're like, did the spell yesterday, might do it again today because I'm not sure it worked. No. That actually can act, if anything, it can counteract and counterbalance. That's why if you're going to do sort of a manifestation and a invoking of what you want for 2021, leave something in there for helping others. That's really important. That can really power you up as well. By the way, it sort of helps 2 for 1. But also, look at how to word it so that it's actually helpful to you and covers the broad range of what's going to keep it in the right realm for you, rather than too specific and shutting off, and then you'll get this and this and this that you asked for, but then you get these really awful things. So the cuddling guy was also domestically violent. Yeah, not what you want, right? So because it was only cuddles that were covered, it was way too many words cuddle, right? So it's like almost an obsession and a building up of too much of that energy. And then, of course, who gives you cuddles and cuddles and cuddles can be an obsessive person sometimes. I mean, some people are very tactile, but, you know, when you're putting a ritual out like that, just use that word or that key idea once. Don't just put it everywhere, because you're going to maybe get some blowback on that. So that's how I would sort of work on your manifestations, your vision boards for what you want to manifest. And I think the thing is to really think about what you're asking for. You know, like, is Tats Lotto, you know, like the lotto winning, is that really actually helpful to you? It can seem that way, can't it? But if you've ever met any Tats Lotto winners like I have, not always. Surprising who comes out of the woodwork, isn't it? What they want and how that gets. So just, keep it real. If you're wanting to have some tips on how to do this, I'm going to post something up later today on my Facebook page, Jacquelene Close-More Live. So on Facebook, just type that in. Yeah, you'll find me. I'll put up there how to do it, so that can help you. So it's nice and concise and a little less wobbly than my discussion today. So yeah, if you're worried about, and then you're in America and you're worried about what tomorrow brings, just remember it's already then now in Australia, and got a lovely park here. Yeah. So get out into nature and breathe. Just take in some of that energy and invoke that into your space. So I hope you have a fabulous day. There's a child crying in the background, but circle of life, right? I'll catch you next week. In the meantime, there's going to be more shows on A1R and Moonstruck TV. Gonna love you and leave you. Bye.